Okay, now I'm just going to give you a little, I want to just help you understand how you read a sprint signature. So this signature here, when I look at that, my biggest concern is that it took the guys 6 days to actually understand what they needed to do. So why is that? Have I got the wrong levels of experience? But you know, I'm really upset because they've virtually doubled their work on day 3. And should we have stopped and kind of said, okay, look, I think this is wrong. We need to go back and find out exactly what was wanted. Was the original sprint goal correct? Has it changed? Has it altered? These are the questions as a manager I will ask. They made some pretty good progress. When I see a sudden jump that is beyond the average, I'll ask questions. What did you cut corners? Has quality been undermined as a result of this? Have you overestimated? Why did this occur? And what can we do to make sure that won't happen again? I'll always try to challenge wherever I can to actually understand the behaviour of the group. Okay, so the first thing when you look at this one is I can safely tell you that this wasn't a development team. But you know, in the end they got their work done that was asked of them within the iteration. And these guys, how they worked, their behaviour was that they talked about it for ages, finally figured out what they had to do, spent ridiculous hours trying to finish it, getting way ahead of time, making some mistakes, but pretty much coming out on time. It's a behaviour that I didn't like, and I was trying to influence by saying, you really should spend more time, less time planning at the start doing. But again, I'm able to look at the behaviour of a group and try to start changing it, to make them a bit more successful. Because in the end I want something like this. It took them 2 days to figure out what to do, and they worked in a very steady pattern all the way. 1 or 2 hiccups, but I could live with that. Okay, so that's how we look at and we try and manage an iteration. How do we try and manage the release of the product? It depends. The product is made up of multiple releases, so each one is interchangeable. So this is the sum of effort that is required at the end of each sprint. It should reduce over time. Now, I'm going to show you the next report, which is a bit better than this one. And what this is showing you is that this is the rate of progress we're making, and this is the rate of change being added to the. My biggest concern is every time we seem to finish something, something else is added. So I reported that this project was going to go on for 3.5 years, and it should finish in 6 months. Behaviour had to change. And it did, because the client stopped adding so much to the backlog, and actually in the end had to reduce backlog to achieve what they needed to achieve on the timeline that they were given. We were held to X amount of money. The money was running out at this time. So when I had this amount of work left, the only thing that could be done to guarantee a success was for the scope to be reduced. When the scope was reduced, there were certain, the business case had to be modified. We had to say that the expectation that was originally given is not the one that you're going to get in the end. However, I've done this, these were month intervals. We done all this 2 months ahead of go live. And in the end, go live was seen as a success because we delivered what we said we were going to deliver. What we said we were going to deliver changed on month 4, but we still delivered to our expectation. There was no surprises. We communicated it quite well. Okay, so that's how I'll manage my release. What we said we would do over the time that we have, or the cost that we have. My last one is my dashboard, and this is one thing that really kills me as a project manager is people that use changing of a background colour on an Excel spreadsheet to equate to traffic light if we're red, yellow, green. I need to be able to understand the size of effort against what we have actually completed over time. So what this is showing you is that this is what we have finished to date, but this is where we should be. However, I have a deviation point of 10%. We haven't deviated more than 10% off what we said we would, so we're in yellow. Now maybe this is a very risky project and I want to reduce that down to 5%, doesn't matter. But if I'm 10% off where I said I would be, I'm in yellow. If I'm any more than 10%, I'm in red. We also sometimes chart something else, which is work in progress. So this is what we've actually done, but this is maybe what we're working on right now. So I'll have a dotted colour that will show you what we're doing right now. So maybe we're really here, but in the end, I only ever measure against done. So what have you done? That's what progress is. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking now. I just want you to consider Agile with this story. I've said to my wife I want to go on a hill walk, but I don't want you to come. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk from point A all the way to point B, and I want you to collect me at point B, 4 hours time. Okay, so I start walking, and I have my map, and I look at my first horizon and I go, right, that's about half the distance I wanted to do today. So I start walking, and the terrain's a bit harder than I was expecting. I'm not as fit as I once thought I was, and it took me, say, 3 hours to get to that point. Well, I have two things I could do. I could ring my wife and say, don't collect me in 4 hours, collect me in 6. Or I can say, I'm not doing this anymore, come back and meet me at point A. Right? And that's what we do in software development, is that we try to understand our long-term goal. We try to create false horizons that we can measure progress against. And within that, we will have touch points where we'll actually manage progress against actuals. And what I'm trying to give you and express is a structured dialogue that will actually bring people together. Will actually bring them above the walls of conflict or communication that have been had before, so that we actually meet at a higher level than we have in the past. I'm not asking people to compromise, but what I'm trying to do is give some way of being able to communicate a lot more effectively than we have in the past.